Just a few weeks ago, I released my first video on ticker OMAH, a very popular ETF by VistaShares. It tracks the top 20 companies in the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio, and everyone loved it. Everyone was talking about it. It's tied to Warren Buffett, and the idea behind it was very, very simple and very, very smart. Well, if you didn't know, VistaShares now has a second ETF with the similar strategy to ticker OMAH, and it's ticker QUSA. It's also the subject of today's video because I'm really, really excited to see exactly how these funds perform. The two of them combined, I think, would make an amazing portfolio, and I'm going to be tracking them in the long run. So I'm super excited. We're going to get into all the details of this fund and see if it's right for your investment strategy. And trust me, you're going to want to stay till the end and see all the little quirks with this ETF that make it super special. But first, if you are interested in ETFs, in dividend investing, in making money in the stock market, you are in the right place. So don't forget to like the video and to subscribe. So let's get right into it. Here we are on the VistaShares website, and before we get into all the details on QUSA, I do want to disclose this is a sponsored video. But hold on. Before you go thinking, oh, why would I watch a sponsored video? He doesn't like the ETF. This is different than a lot of sponsored content on YouTube because I reached out to VistaShares. And you guys know that I made the OMA video. That was not a sponsored video. I made it because I was impressed by the fund and it did well and people liked the fund. So I reached out to VistaShares and I was speaking with a number of people from there and they were very polite, very kind. And I said, I want to make content on these ETFs. I want to work with you guys to showcase the good behind them. Now, they're still very new. There is still a component of risk to these, of course, but they're popular, and I think the design behind them is very, very smart. I think it's going to do well in the long run, and that's why. I don't put anything on my channel. You guys are an audience that we have built together. It's a community, and I'm not trying to showcase whatever to you, so that's why. I reached out to VistaShares. That's how I like to do my sponsorships, and they were very kind in sponsoring the video. So let's talk about QUSA. Here's the overview. If you want all this info, it's on their website as well. They have a very nice website, I will say. QUSA seeks to generate high monthly income by investing in a diverse equity portfolio and implementing a data-driven options investment strategy. This is pretty similar. It's kind of boilerplate language to what we've seen with a lot of investment ETFs, and that's good. One thing I will say is they're targeting this 15% return in income, meaning that's the dividend yield. And what I like about this, or distribution rate, I should say, it's an ETF. And what I like about this is 15% is a very solid number. It is a high number. It is reaching high. It's not an easy thing to attain, but it's also not way too high. We're not talking 40%. It is something that the company can do, I believe, and I hope that they do because I will be investing in these very shortly, I hope. So I'm very happy with that. It's not too low. It's not 10% or 8% that I can get with a lot of normal funds. So it's right in the middle. I kind of call it the sweet spot, 15% target income. And there's more to that as well. The core equity exposure. QUSA provides core mid to large cap equity exposure focused on high quality companies as defined by financial metrics such as high profitability, very, very key, low earnings variability, that's nice, and low leverage. The low earnings variability gives you a little bit more consistency, which is nice. I'm not sure how that will affect the volatility, the implied volatility on the options, but still very interesting. And of course, the professional options management. Leverage the years of experience and rigorous research process employed by the team managing VistaShares options-based income ETFs. Great. Love to see it. The summary. The VistaShares Target 15 USA Quality Income ETF offers investors a core equity portfolio of US-based companies that exhibit strong quality financial characteristics while leveraging the experience of the portfolio management team seeking to generate high monthly income. So what I like about this, obviously, I've said this before with a number of different ETFs, when you really get behind a management team and they've proven themselves that they're able to not only make money for clients, but continually make money for clients on a consistent basis, i.e. through the distribution rate, it's phenomenal because it's a buy and forget kind of fund. And that is how I imagine these VistaShares ETFs are going to be for me. I'm not going to be actively trading them. It will be just a long-term purchase once I've tracked them a little bit because, again, they are very, very new. But again, maybe I'm overhyped about them. I'm just excited because we don't see a lot of these funds in this investment environment that we are in. Strategy involves two components: investing in a portfolio of equity securities that exhibit strong quality characteristics defined by high profitability, low earnings variability, and low leverage, and two, generating income through an options portfolio. Now, what's cool too is The VistaShares Target 15 USA Quality Income ETF primarily seeks income and secondarily long-term capital appreciation, meaning price appreciation. Your money will be going up. That is the goal. And that is very, very key with a lot of these because we're worried about NAV erosion. And when it comes to 15%, it's a little bit lower than some of the ones I've talked about on the channel. But if you can have a 15% with no NAV erosion, or better yet, 15% with capital appreciation, that is absolutely phenomenal. So let's talk about the key characteristics of this ETF. The expense ratio is a little bit higher, 0.95%. It's getting up to the 1% range, which it's going to have to do very well for me to hold it long-term with that expense ratio. And like I said, I believe that it will. And that's why I'm making this entire video on it. But it is a bit higher, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it. VistaShares, it all comes down to how difficult it is to work the fund, to do all the little nuances of it. I don't know anything about it. I'll be honest. I don't know how they set the expense ratios. Could be higher. I've seen them go as high as 2% on some of the ETFs I've talked about, which really starts to scare me. So could be better, could be worse. I'm not going to complain. We also have not seen any dividends yet, but they do have their distribution calendar already set. So the first payable date will be this month, the 28th of this month, which I'm excited for, and then continually every single month, which is great. We don't have any price or performance yet because it is very, very new. Next, we have the holdings, a very important component of all ETFs. We can see some big names in here: Visa, Cintas, Microsoft Corp. We have MasterCard. And there is something important to say. If you guys aren't looking at what is in the ETF you are buying, you really should be. We can see the weightings and everything, which is always important. You don't want to be overweighted in one sector or just one company specifically. Of course, if something bad happens to that company, it can pull down the ETF, which we don't want. Now, what are the main three? We have industrials, financials, and information technology, which I love. I really like this because it's different than what I have in my portfolio today. It makes me more diversified. Industrials is 30%, which is good. Industrials, I think, are like the unsung hero. They are, I would say, a little bit lower growth. They're not like tech. They're not insane. They're not all shiny and new, but they're consistent. They're consistent, and better yet, they are necessary. And that is a key component to what you want in your ETFs, because you definitely don't want anything super tech heavy, because when we have downturns in the market, what happens? It falls pretty hard. Then we have financials, another key staple. The world runs on money, it runs on banking, it runs on credit cards, unfortunately. And so that's always pretty solid. Then we have information technology that gives you a nice little boost. It gives you a little more growth, gives you a little more, I don't know, just a little pizzazz, I guess you'd say. And then the rest: consumer staples, healthcare, consumer discretionary, real estate. They all trickle down to lower numbers, but the big three are really going to be the main things you want to focus on. And that's what I like. My portfolios definitely are more tech heavy. You guys know most of what I talk about is crypto related, tech related, sometimes REIT related if I talk about real estate and whatnot. But all in all, this adds a nice bit of change to my portfolio, which I'm really, really happy about. And of course, it wouldn't be a Spencer Invest video without the beloved dividend calculator. And I'm doing this just to show you guys what 15% every single year over a long time span could do, because I guarantee it's going to surprise you. Now, I have 20K invested and we have 970 shares of QUSA. And so this scenario, we're estimating it just based off the 15% annualized dividend yield and no price fluctuations. It's not going to go up, it's not going to go down, which typically it's going to track these larger funds. So it will probably follow the market, but long-term the market tends to trail up, and thus I imagine QUSA will follow. But in 1 year, your $20,000 will make you $3,000 in dividends just that first year. And it's really going to pick up, especially because we have drip on and it's paying out monthly, which I love the monthly payers. We're going to add 10 years invested, and your $20,000 is now just under $90,000. You've made $64,000 in dividends. We're going to keep picking this up 20 years. After 20 years at just a 15% annual dividend yield, your $20,000 is worth just under $400,000. You could nearly retire. Your annual dividend moving forward, your dividends paid out every year moving forward, are $63,500, and you've made $350,000 in dividends. And of course, I always say this: let's say you're 30, you want to retire at 60, so you invest your $20,000 of savings into QUSA, and it just continues trading sideways, but you get that nice 15% compounding with drip turned on. How much money do you have? The answer, $1.75 million. So again, we don't know what QUSA will do. It's a very new fund. I'm very excited for it, but this is all speculating on just that 15% return. Will it do better? Will it do worse? We will only know with time. But if you guys are interested in more content on these VistaShares ETFs, potentially even a challenge, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to pit the two against each other and see how they perform in the long run. I definitely think OMAH is popular. People love it because of course, Warren Buffett. But I think QUSA is definitely going to be up there in one of my top ETFs for 2025. Again, a huge thank you to VistaShares for sponsoring this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, check out these other ones, including one on investing into OMAH that I know you're going to like.